And welcome everybody. Oops, sorry for that part there. Printing something out. Welcome everybody to the start of the Unit 8 Algebra 1 notes. These are covering sections 8.1 for Algebra 1, and I'll be making videos for all of the Unit 8 sections as we go here. So today we're starting off with just, make sure I got my stuff right here. Oh, come on. Sorry about that. There we go. We're back online now. All right, so let's back. All right, sorry about that. So we are back. So we're back just working through. These are the 8.1. We'll stay in the part 1 of the notes. 8.1 is kind of it's kind of like introductory vocabulary kind of stuff. So basically we'll kind of go through the vocab here. So you got all these vocab terms up here, like terms, leading coefficient, degree, polynomial, constant. So we have all that there. So I won't really worry too much about. So kind of just you can write some of that stuff down. So just basically to go over some of that stuff here. So degree and leading coefficient, those basically go hand in hand. So essentially the degree is the largest exponent. In your equation, the largest exponent, that's what we call the degree of your function. And essentially, if you look at the number that's in front of it, so say like you have a degree of x7, and there's a number 3 out in front. Well, we would say that we have a degree of 7 and a leading coefficient, normally you say LC, of 3, all right? And then constant right here is just a number without any variables next to it. So let's go down here. So number of terms. So when I'm looking for number of terms, all I'm looking for are basically 8x fourth, anything that's separated by addition or subtraction sign. So 8x4 addition sign, okay. Next one, yx. These whole things here. And I count this whole thing as one term here. So 1, 2, subtraction sign, and then 4x squared. All that counts as 1, so that's 3. Plus, and then x7, so that is 4, negative 13, 5, even though there's no x, that still counts as a term, and then the 3x cubed, 6, all right? So I have 6 terms, all right? Now I look for my degree. Again, I'm looking for the highest exponent here. Let's see, 4, no exponent is 1, 2, 7, 3. The highest number out of all those exponents is the number 7. Yeah, come on. My leading coefficient, well, I'm just going to look at where I'm going to kind of put a star next to that. I'm looking where my highest exponent is, the x7, and I put the number out in front. So no number out in front, it's just the number 1. And then I look for my constant, which is, again, the number that has no x or any variable attached to it. So I look at this negative 13 here. Because it's minus 13, there's no x, so that is my constant, all right? Okay, so a couple other things here is essentially the term's standard form. So it's essentially when the terms are in order from the greatest to least degree. And then we have a couple other terms that we like to mention. We have monomial, which is a polynomial with 1 term, binomial, polynomial with 2 terms, and then polynomial with 3 terms is a trinomial. Polynomial is essentially it's essentially an expression with multiple terms. And then we have different names for polynomials with 1 term, 2 terms, and 3 terms. So let's go ahead and write in standard form in order from least to greatest. So I look at my exponents when I'm going to write in standard form. So I have 1/2 x squared. And, well, if I look at my other exponents, the number 1, anytime you have a constant, that's essentially an exponent of 0, so constants always go last. So I'll write it up here. Constants go last. All right? So the constants go last. So if I look here, x squared and 1, well, that's basically it. That's my standard form right there. All right? What about the next one? Negative 7y to the 5th power. Well, there's nothing really else on there. That's my only term, so that's basically it right there. 7y 5th right there. How about the next one? I got -3 and then minus y squared. -3 is my constant, negative y squared. So this time, instead of leaving it the same, I'm going to actually switch them. And I'm going to write -2y, because again I got the -2 out front, -2y squared, minus 3, because I got the -3 there. So again, that's standard form. So I have my variable. So basically, if I have my variable with the highest exponent first, and then my constant last. And in this instance, I only have a variable with an exponent of 2 and a constant. That goes last. Okay? Now we go back here, all right, to the next one. Now this one I have multiple x's. I have x squared, and x7. Remember, I'm going to start with my highest exponent, the x7. So I'm going to write that one first, 4x7, all right? And then I'm going to go to the next highest, which is my -7x squared, so minus 7x squared. And then I go to my next highest, minus 9x, and that's basically all I have to work with there, all right? Next one, well, 5, standard form, nothing really much to go on. That's just the number 5. How about the next one, 8x, not x to the 9th power minus 8x plus 2x to the 5th power. Start with my highest exponents, which is x to the 9th power. It looks like that's already there, so x to the 9th. My next highest is not the negative x, 8x, but the x to the 5th, because again, I'm only going with the exponent. So I write plus 2x to the 5th, and then my last one, minus 8x, all right? Okay, now let's go ahead and classify some of these off of these terms, either binomial, or monomial, binomial, or trinomial. So I look right here. I look at all my terms. I have the, oh, sorry about that. This 1/2 x squared is one term. The plus 1 is my second term. If I have two terms, that means it's a binomial. -7 times y to the 5th, well, there's no plus or minus signs in there, so that's literally just a monomial, all right? If there are no plus/minus signs, I'm just going to write it's a monomial, all right? Oh, going back here. -2y squared minus 3, I got the -2y, that counts as 1. And then the 3, that counts as 2, so that's a binomial there. Binomial there. Look at this one, 4x to the 7th power minus 7x squared minus 9x. That's 1, 2, 3 terms, so that's a trinomial. And then the 5, again, I have no addition or subtraction signs, so that just turns into a monomial. Again, it's just one term. And then this one down here, I got 1, 2, 3 terms, so that is a trinomial. All right. Now the thing with standard form is that it actually makes it, it's actually kind of nice because it basically puts, you know, your leading coefficient and your degree first. So it basically makes these first when you put it in standard form. Darn it. So to find the degree or find the degree and the leading coefficient, all I now do is just look at the first number. So let's see, for the first one here, my degree, my exponent is 2, highest exponent is 2. Highest exponent for this one, well, my only exponent is 5. Highest exponent for this one is 2. Highest exponent for this one, 7 to 1, is my exponent of 7. 5, that means I basically don't have a degree, and I don't have a leading coefficient. These constant equations are kind of weird. If it's just a number, that basically means you don't have a degree or leading coefficient. And then this one here, out of my highest exponents, 9, 5, and 1, my degree is 9, and my leading coefficient is 1. All right. Now I go back to leading coefficients here. This one, I just look at the number that's out in front of the x. It's just 1/2. Number that's out in front of the x, it's the -7. Number that's out in front of the y squared, -2. Number that's out in front of the x to the 7th, 4. All right. So completed this little chart here. All right. So I'd say the one things from these is just knowing how to write in standard form. All right. That's probably that's a very important, you know, step, if only just to kind of make our lives a little bit easier, because it makes the equation look a little bit nicer, and it puts basically our degree and leading coefficient kind of out front there. All right. All right, so that's essentially classifying, writing in standard form. Now let's actually start to do a little bit more here. Let's add some of these together. So adding polynomials, all right? So when we're adding polynomials, say we have like, polynomial here and a polynomial here, all we're doing is just combining like terms, all right? Now, combining like terms, I'll put a little note under here, all right? Combining like terms has to have the same variable and exponents, all right? The exponent and the variable have to be the same in order for them to be like terms, all right? So to start this off, let's just start it off here. Start off with 2x cubed, all right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look in not only this polynomial, but this polynomial for any other x cubes, all right? And what I look is I find an x cubed here. So what I'm going to do, all I'm going to do now is just add the numbers out front. No number, remember, is the number 1, so I'm going to add a 1 plus 2. That gets me 3, and then my x cubed stays the same. Now I'm done with those. I cross them out when I'm done with them. I move on to negative 5x squared right here. And then I go over here, I got my 2x squared, all right? I'm looking for an x squared. This x doesn't work because it doesn't have a squared on it, all right? I'm only looking for x squared terms. So I got negative 5 plus 2, that's negative 3x squared. I'm done with those. I cancel and cross them out. Plus x, I look around, I don't see any other x values, so that's all I can write. It's just plus x. And then the same with the negative 1. I can only combine that with constants, and I don't have any other constants in there, so I just leave it as negative 1. All right? All right, same idea, going down to the bottom one there. 3m cubes. All right, I need to combine my like terms. I need to start with the first one. Look for any other m to the third powers, m to the third powers, m to the third powers. I get one right here, all right? And remember, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take that 3 minus 3, just to subtract the number, add the numbers out front. 3 plus a negative 3, well, that's 0m cubed, which means I don't have to write it, all right? So I'm basically done with those. Negative 10m squared to the 5th power plus a negative 2m to the 5th power, all right? Combine my m to the 5th powers, all right? I'm going to combine the negative 10 and the negative 2, just add those together. That gets you negative 12. The m to the 5th stays the same. All right, done with those. Negative 7, look for any other constants. Negative 7 and negative 12. I'm just going to add negative 7 plus negative 12. That gets me negative 19. There's no other terms to work with, so that's all I have there. All right. All right, so that's all I have for this first video. I'm going to do the subtracting polynomials in the next video, so just keep an eye out for that. Thank you.